to someone of the next generation who hasn't given up on either our humanity or our future together. Mark Johnson is the co-director of a remarkable documentary about the simple but transformative power of music, playing for change, peace through music.
Well, I think music is the one thing that opens the door to bringing people to a place where they're all connected. You know, it's easy to connect to the world through music, you know. Religion, politics, a lot of those things, they seem to divide everybody.
The film brings together musicians from around the world, from blues singers in a waterlogged New Orleans to chamber groups in Moscow and a South African choir. They celebrate songs familiar and new and touch something common in each of us. Here is one you might recognize.
Stand by me, no matter how much money you got. All the friends you got, you gon' need somebody to stand by you. When the night has come and the land is dark and that moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed one tear. Just as long as your people come and stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Come on, stand by me. Yeah. Oh, when that sky that we look upon, when she tumble and fall on the mountains, they should crumble into the sea. I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Please stand by me. Stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Please stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, baby, baby. So darling, darling, stand. Oh, stand. Oh, stand. Stand by me. Come on, stand by me. Stand. Oh, won't you stand? Oh, stand. Stand by me. Come on, stand by me. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. Not as long as you, yeah, stand
The filmmaker is Mark Johnson. He's a Grammy Award-winning producer and engineer and a film director who's worked with some of the most renowned musicians and producers in the field. Mark, welcome to the Journal.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
What in the world prompted you to do this?
The idea came about 10 years ago here in New York City. I was in a subway station on my way to work. You know, every day in the subway, people are just running around like crazy to get wherever they have to go.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. But this one particular day, I was in the subway and I heard these two monks playing music, and they were painted head to toe, all in white, wearing robes. And one of them was playing a nylon guitar, and the other one was singing in a language that I didn't understand, and I imagine most people didn't understand.
Everybody was just standing around. I've done that.
You know, about 200 people just stopped, didn't get on the train, and started watching this music. And I looked around and I saw people with tears in their eyes, and I saw jaw dropping, and I just saw this collection, and it occurred to me that here is a group of people that would normally run by each other, and here they are collectively coming together, and it's the music that brought them together. So it really inspired me, and it occurred to me that when there's no separation between music and people, when music is just happening and people can walk by and it can affect them, that this is an opportunity for us to really find a way to bring people together.
100 musicians took part, right?
Yes, yes.
And 10 years it took you.
10 years it took me.
Did you ever think of giving up?
You know, I remember as I started this project, it started to build more and more importance. And I remember at some point or another realizing that we were going to represent the eyes on the faces of the kids on this planet, and that was going to be our motivation, so there was no chance we were going to stop. Because the truth is, they need us to inspire each other and to create a better world. I mean, there's so many problems now with the economy and with war and a lot of depression. But at the end of the day, there's also so much hope, because I can assure you, all over the world, people are beautiful and they want to unite together.
But there are also some very ugly situations in the world, and you went into the heart of some of them. What took you to those places to try to sprinkle this hope you talk about?
Well, I think that in order to really unite people, you know, we have to show that in our darkest situations and in the places of the most struggles in the world, that we can find a way of uplifting each other out of it. I remember hearing somebody that said that, you know, the last person who knew why we were fighting died a long time ago. We all know the world is changing, and we get to decide if it's changing for the better or if it's changing for the worse. And so with music, it opens up these doors that ordinarily wouldn't be opened.
Why did you choose Stand By Me?
I chose Stand By Me, or it chose me, as it may have been, because I was walking in the streets in Santa Monica, California, where I live, and I heard the singer Roger Ridley playing the song on the street, and I was maybe a block away, and I still heard him.
No matter where you go in life, you gon' need.
And I remember running back over to catch the performance. And when the song ended, you know, I was so moved by him, his voice sort of representing everything to me that music is, with soul and perseverance and talent all wrapped into one voice. So I approached Roger and I said, hey, you know, if I come back with some recording equipment and some cameras, I would love to take this song around the world and add other musicians to it.
What do you hope comes from this?
Well, I mean, with Playing for Change, my ultimate thing would be that people understand that in a world with all this division, it's important for us to focus on our connections.
You are starting some schools from this called Playing for Change, right?
Many years back, my brother, Greg Johnson, who's been a huge source of inspiration for me, he had given me a Christmas gift, which was a photo book called A Day in the Life of Africa. And in that book was one photograph that he had framed for me. And the caption was something along the lines of, one of the more dangerous townships in South Africa finds solace through backyard jazz. And I had this picture on my wall for years, and it served as a symbol for me and for the crew that I was traveling with. And so I did some research, and I found out that the band leader was the upright bass player named Pokey Klaas. And he is the upright bass player you see in the Stand By Me video with the children in front of him. And so when we traveled down to Cape Town, South Africa, and we were going to eat at a restaurant, and we heard this music down the street. So the crew and I, we walked down there to hear the music. And when the band was over, we asked Joe Peterson, who is the singer in the band, have you ever heard of Pokey? And he said, oh yeah, Pokey, he's my best friend. I'll take you to see Pokey. So the next day we all got in a van and we drove out to Guguletu Township, which is passing thousands of shacks and an incredibly humbling experience. And we went out there and we show up and we meet Pokey. I remember there were a number of little homes in the backyard and a lot of sorrow because there was a lot of HIV in the area, a lot of poverty. So we decided, okay, we'll put on a little concert in the backyard because the people here need something to celebrate. And I have never in my life seen something more beautiful when the people came out of their little homes and just started dancing and celebrating this music. And it was almost a form of an exorcism where all the sorrow was gone and they were now filled with all this joy and connection to us and to each other. And so we asked Pokey, as we had all the musicians along the way, well, what can we do to give back to your communities? I mean, they let us in their homes, they fed us, they gave us their music, they told us their stories in the world. And Pokey said, the kids here, they really need a music school. They need some hope. They need something that can give them some inspiration. And so just this a couple months ago, we went down there with some shovels and we built the first Playing for Change music school in that exact spot in the backyard. And now it's a chance for kids to get together, to have something positive to look forward to. And we're going to build hundreds of schools around the world and installing them all with recording equipment and cameras. So the people can log on to the internet and they can watch recitals and concerts in the schools we're building to kind of break down that whole distance barrier.
Did anybody ever say to you, Mark, don't be naive?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But to me, naive is thinking that there's any other choice. The only choice we have is to come together and to inspire each other, because that's the way that will create a better world for us now and for the kids tomorrow. And the other truth is, a lot of people are living in a world of fear, but we don't even know how long we're going to be in this world, so there's really no reason to fear anything. The most important thing is, while we're here, let's make a difference together. That's what Playing for Change is trying to represent.
We'll link your website to our website at pbs.org, and people can find out more about Playing for Change. What's next for you?
Well, to continue to build schools around the world. The beautiful thing about Playing for Change is that it never ends. And so that we're going to continue to connect more and more musicians around the world, build the family together, and build more schools.
Mark Johnson, we'll close with your favorite song on the DVD, One Love.
Thank you, Bill.
That you remarks, that is one question I'd really love to